like to provide a few opening remarks before I introduce Caleb Cook, the president of the End of the Watch Foundation. I'd like to start off by saying we'd like to send our prayers to the victims of hurricane down in Southwest Florida and to the first responders that have responded down there and have answered the call for service and duty, as we always do. I'd like now to start off with a quote that was given about 400 years ago but still rings true today, from Sir Edmund Burke, who said, "All it takes for evil to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing." There were 633 people in 2021 that did something. There were people that came out today that rucked 42, 24, 12, 8, 4, and 2 that did something. Each and every one of you that are here today are doing something. And we all must do something so evil doesn't triumph. As we read out the names before the ruck, we would call out their cause of death. Well, the majority of them were COVID. There were other causes. And many of them all died heroic deaths. But we must remember probably their bravest moment in any law enforcement officer's career. It's that moment when they step forward and they choose to become a law enforcement officer. That moment they raise their hand and they take that oath to protect and defend. That is one of their bravest moments. That is the moment that they step up and choose to defend that thin blue line that protects us from chaos. At the Ruck, I got to experience the teamwork and the camaraderie that came about. I'd signed up for the 24-hour continuous ruck, but 8 hours into it, somebody lost their partner. And Caleb had always talked about the ruck being a teamwork event. I partnered up with them, and instead of 2 people not being able to finish the ruck, there was only 1. Because every new officer that comes into the force believes they can do it themselves. But as they go through their careers, they realize that as a team they can succeed, and as a team, there is nothing that can stop them. Theodore Roosevelt said, "It's the man in the arena, the one that has the sweat, the blood, the tears, and not the critic, not the naysayer, that matters. We are that man and that woman in that arena." And one other thing that I want to bring up before I turn it over to Caleb. We called out 633 names of officers that perished in the line of duty. But there was another 182 officers that lost their lives to suicide. Suicide, prior to the pandemic, was the leading cause of death for law enforcement officers. And it's something that each and every one of us need to address. The Florida Police Chiefs Association, last legislative session, made changes to the PTS bill to give greater benefits for PTSD with the assistance of the FSA, the Florida Sheriff's Association. But there is still so much more that needs to be done. So I'd like to close by saying, a community can only be as successful and prosperous as it is safe. And we are in one of the best states in the best country in history. Caleb, I'd like to call you up and provide your statements for the End of Ruck March. And before I actually call him up, I was supposed to give him a little bit of an introduction. And this has started, 2018 is when the End of Ruck started. And the End of Ruck March really honors, supports, and educates the efforts that are done by the law enforcement officers. I can tell you that Caleb puts his heart, and I appreciate everything that he does for this End of Ruck March, because he ensures that every single name is recognized and every single name is honored. And for that, Caleb, I thank you, and now I turn it over to you.
Death. Who here remembers the moment when you realized that you would one day die? Not just the knowledge that death was real, but the actual conscience, comprehension deep in your heart of understanding that everything that makes up who you are would cease to exist. We have to live in the knowledge that your dreams, your goals, your memories, your experiences, your relationships, and everything you hold dear would be lost as you know it. Your involvement in the daily life of your loved ones will stop. Each day, we live in the shadow of our own personal apocalypse. Daily we get up knowing this, but ignoring this truth. Each day, officers like the ones we have honored this weekend suit up, crawl into their patrol car, and drive into this shadow. These officers went to work every day knowing that they were going to meet that chance, and they met it. When an injured officer is in transition, when they are in those moments of passing over, what do you think is going through their mind? We actually have a glimpse of that right here.
10-118, a check Stacy at Home Depot on Alexis, 1035 West Alexis. We have a caller reporting there's an intoxicated male in the parking lot in a silver Mercury four-door car with plate of Henry Frank King 5278. Says he has open beer cans inside the vehicle. The caller has watched him drink 3 beers since she's been there. He's asking for a jump for his vehicle. It's currently disabled, so he can take off. He's stocky wearing a white shirt, white male. Here's calls 120, 21, 28, code 3, 1035 West Alexis at Home Depot.
118, tell this my family I love them.
I can't copy.
118, tell my family I love them. Oh, yeah.
We got crews coming. I'm getting medical.
They are thinking about their family. Do you really think they went down wishing, you know what, I wished I had scrolled Facebook just a little bit more, instead of being present at the dinner table or while my kid was playing box? People say that death is the worst thing that can happen to us, but I don't think that it's death itself that scares people the most. What scares people the most is that in that moment of transition, where we can no longer ignore the things we wish we were doing differently, it's the knowing that we're on our way out and there's nothing we can do about it. Time is out on the things we consciously ignored and said we would change later. See, we live day to day like we will live forever. Why do we push off the things we know we should do for the things we shouldn't? In those moments, we watch dreams that were never accomplished spill out on the ground below us. All our hopes, all our dreams, hobbies, goals, aspirations that will simply go unanswered and unfinished. During those moments, we come face to face with knowing that we just gave our last little forehead kiss to our babies. That we just hugged our spouse for the last time. We get hit with the fact that we will not get to see our kids grow up and our loved ones succeed in life. That we won't be there tomorrow to help them get ready for school, or in 15 years, help them get moved off to college or married to their high school sweetheart. So let's take a look at these priorities. One thing I know is that we have far too many families that are disconnected. They live what I call altogether separate. So what does that mean, altogether separate? Imagine this. You have a father who comes in from a stressful day at work. He grabs a snack and a beer and he sits on the couch, flips on the TV, and tunes out. The kids come in, drop their school books, and disappear into their bedroom to play video games on into the night. You have a wife that comes in from playing family taxi cab. She unloads the groceries, starts dinner, and then sits down by herself to scroll through social media and look at all of the other perfect family farces. They all live together, but they are separate as if simple roommates. They lack that personal connection that could breathe life into their life. It's that wholesome family unit with sincere goodbye kisses that leave you with the lasting peaceful memories. So drop your ego and make your walkout memory one worth being your last. If you want a better relationship, change it. If you want a better marriage, change it. If you want a better friendship, better agency, better community, it is possible. But it all starts with how we treat each other. Speaking of how we treat each other, to that officer that may be going through a hard time, listen to me. You're going to hear all kinds of things said about you. Ignore it. It's going to happen. You're going to have tough supervisors, tough shift mates, tough calls, and tough people to deal with. Enemies will come at you from all angles, both inside the wire and out. Know this, tough times have not come to stay, but they have come to pass. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and don't let the negative mindset of those around you determine your destiny. The enemies you see today, you will see no more. You will not always have to deal with them. And if you maintain focus on your goal, you will leave them behind in their negative pitfalls, and all they will be able to do is watch you soar freely above them while they remain trapped in their own prison. Don't let them get inside of your head. It is not what they say about you that determines who you are, but what you say about you. Stop wasting your energy on the negative people who have zero interest in your well-being. It's not what they say about your path that matters, but it's what you say about you that threatens the path that you're on. Know this. Know that every single person in here is in one of three places in life. They are going through a problem, they're going into a problem, or they're coming out of a problem. Truth of the matter is, we're all going through the process of transformation. There's no need to be ashamed of yours. And every now and then you'll run across someone who can speak life into you to help you keep pushing. Hold on to that person. Let me tell you, if you have something good, hold on to it and let all others go. Some of you should have had a nervous breakdown already. You've been hit from all sides, but something inside of you has kept you going. You're winning battles that those around you will never know about. And how do I know that you're winning? It's the fact that you're here tells me that you haven't lost yet. What you're feeling right now may not feel good, but it is good. Never shall we die. You've all seen the artwork over there at the table as you came in. Never shall we die. It's part of a three-part message. 2 parts up front, 1 part a little more subliminal. 1, brother remembered never dies. They say a fallen hero dies twice. Once when their body dies, and again when they are forgotten. 2, you can't kill who we are or what we stand for. We will never die. And the more subliminal message is the darkness of the design. Is the artwork a little dark? Yes, it is. It's that way on purpose because we have far too many officers that are going through a dark place in life. And to that officer in a dark place, you stand there telling stories and laughing like you don't have a care in the world. But what others don't see is the battleground that is going on inside of your mind. They can't hear the gunfire that is going off inside of your head. Your head is where the fight is. You go to bed with it, you wake up with it, you go to work with it, you can't eat because of it, and yet no one knows. The battleground isn't your finances, it isn't your haters, it isn't your backbiters, your supervisor, the civilian, or the bad press. But the battleground is in your mind. You aren't being defeated by what others say about you, but you are only being defeated by what you say about you. I keep hearing break the stigma, but with the way things work now, if we talk about it, we're labeled as damaged goods. Damaged goods get discarded, and our biggest fear as law enforcement officers is being sidelined to the bench of irrelevance. We have officers that would rather put a barrel in their mouth than talk to a friend. We have officers killing themselves at a rate higher than that of officers who are being lost to felonious killings and assaults. But society still looks at officers like they are the problem. We are failing to meet them where they are. If you are going through one of those dark times right now, it's okay. It's okay to feel the darkness. It's okay to feel alone. It happens. It doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. You may not feel like getting out of bed some days, and that's okay. Know that this too shall pass. You go day to day thinking that no one will understand you. You feel like no one will understand the issues you're going through, and that's okay. They don't. You do. You know what you are going through, and you don't need anyone else to understand. Your life experiences are as unique as your fingerprints. Everyone has them. They are similar, but yours are different. Have you ever tried to describe your fingerprints to anyone? Try to describe them in a way that they can truly understand how yours are different from theirs. No one has seen your life through your eyes except you. And all those experiences have built the fingerprint of your life. And that makes your struggles unique from everyone else in this world. If fear that they don't understand is what's keeping you from talking to a friend, you are right. They won't. But you don't have to do this alone. And the big secret is that you won't understand theirs either. What we need is each other. Every one of us have our own unique struggles, and helping each other navigate those struggles can mean the difference between life and death. Maybe my whole purpose here is simply to remind you that you have the strength to rebuild. You have the strength of passion to get up off the ground and stop eating dirt. You can overcome. You keep holding on to the dream that one day things will get better. You're holding on to the dream that you were put on this earth to produce, but you're not sure why. You feel it, but you haven't explored it. Les Brown once said, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all your terror of the opposition for it, if you simply go after that thing that you want with all your capacity, strength, and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, famine, nor gout, sickness, nor pain of body and brain can keep you away from that thing you want, if dogged and grim you besieged and beset it with the help of God, you will get it. Be careful who you get advice from. Every step of the way, I've had people who think that they know who I am tell me I couldn't do it. Before I got into law enforcement, before I became an FTO, before I promoted, before we started End of Watch Memorial Ruck, and again recently, when asked what was next for me, I was laughed at. Good thing I don't need their approval, and good thing I didn't listen. In closing, I'll leave you with this. Stop giving up on your dreams for fear for failure. People fear that if they get what they want, somehow down the road they'll mess it up. But failure is part of it. Fear has kept you from living up to your fullest potential. Don't pray for constant wins. Learn to set better sails. With better set sails, you can turn any wind that blows your way into the momentum you need to keep moving forward. And it's the harshest winds that can launch you faster than easy, calm winds ever could. So thank you for your time this weekend, all your sleep lost, all your energy given. I promise it was not in vain. Thank you for helping us remember these brothers and sisters in blue as we lay our warriors to rest. We have the watch from here.
When we lay our warriors to rest, it's to the good times, it's to the bad times, and the memories we'll always have. 'Cause when we lay our warriors